old familiar faces who are back after some time. So it's really good to see you all back. And we have some icebreaker sessions today. It's always exciting to be part of experience where we have people come up and speak for the first time. There's a lot to learn, observing, and also reminiscence of our own experiences when we started off the new journey. So, digressing for a minute to the theme for today, philanthropy, a very apt subject to talk about in today's times. And when I think of philanthropy, the first thing that comes to my mind is we had a visitor from the US who was here in India a few months back, maybe 3 months back. And this gentleman has got one of the largest mutual fund. He's considered to be a millionaire in his own right. And when he was here, an initiative that he started off was to connect with some of the notable Indian businessmen, okay, the Tatas and some others. And what he got into the forefront was a conversation about what can the rich do for the not so fortunate. It was probably the first time that I am at least aware of where we had some of the notable personalities in India, the big business houses, representatives from there, on the same podium talking about what they can do. So, a huge shift. I mean, the thought is what starts everything, right? So, to getting the thought into the forefront and getting some key players involved, I thought was very encouraging. Of course, in India today, yesterday there was an article that came out which highlighted the gap between the fortunate and the not so fortunate. And in that context, when I look at this whole thing, I think philanthropy is such an important thing, such an important role it has to play, particularly in the Indian context. So with that background, let us move to today's session. The Toastmaster for today. How do I introduce this gentleman? He has brought a new life to this club. And if I have to just summarize that in one sentence, he has taken up a couple of initiatives. The first one is, posting of the blog and getting it out there, which is so important to get the message out to all the members. He's done that, and he brings a very different approach to speaking. So for me, it's always fascinating to be here and watch him and wonder what is he going to say today. So does anybody have any guesses? Yes. I guess the agenda is published. So without further ado, let me welcome the Toastmaster for today, Mr. Kaustav.
Help will always be given at Hogwarts to people who ask for it. This is one of my favorite lines from one of my favorite fantasy series, Harry Potter. It's told by Professor Dumbledore very often to Harry when he's in need of help. Today's theme is of course philanthropy, but why did I start with this? Because this is synonymous with the theme of today. I want to put it across how it is. The whole agenda of today has changed. And I reached out to fellow Toastmasters, and I have got all the role players. I reached out for help and it was given to me. That's our fraternity. That is why this saying makes more sense to me today. And it is philanthropy because I wanted this session to happen because we have two people prepared for icebreakers. I wouldn't let the session go away for any reason, because 80% of success is showing up, and these gentlemen showed up. We can't deny them the next 20%, which is why philanthropy and help from our fraternity makes a lot of sense today. With that, I would like to start the session of the day. I will give a brief about how we are planning to go ahead today. We have 2 prepared speeches, which is something we haven't had for some time, and I'm very excited about that. And we have a table topic session planned by Srikanth. Before that, let me introduce my fellow role players one by one, starting with the grammarian. Let me thank her for taking up the role at very short notice. Toastmaster Sujata.
Thanks, Kaustuv. Hello, good afternoon everyone. I'll be playing the grammarian role for the day, and we'll have 2 responsibilities. One is introduce the word of the day, and the word of the day for today is indigent, which is I can say it's very much in sync with what the theme of the day is. It means suffering from extreme poverty, and the synonyms are needy, destitute, and impoverished. A couple of usages of the word is: the clinic provides free care for indigent patients. Another example is, because he was indigent, the court appointed a lawyer to defend him. And another responsibility that I have for the day is watch out for good usages or improper usage of grammar on verbs, for instance, and also track the usage of the word by everyone. Thank you.
And this is one of the things we rarely get, that the word of the day matches the theme of the day. So thank you very much for that. Let me next request the accountant for today, I think, to introduce himself and the role he's playing.
Thank you. Today I'll be taking care of the R counter. The purpose of the R counter is to note down the words, the sounds that are used repeatedly, such as inappropriate interjections, so, but, and sounds such as etc. So I'll be making note of the number of times each one has used, and at the end of the session I'll read out the numbers to you.
I'm very excited to have Atik also. He actually volunteered for this session, this role to take up this role. I didn't even have to request him. He came forward with this because the role was open. And he has been a regular member of our club. He's one of those guys who's done the 80% showing up. So a long way to go, but excellent. Thank you, and let's move on to vote counter. Again, another person who has come to my rescue at the last moment. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Today I am playing a role called the vote counter. So after every speech, I will be taking the feedback from everyone, and I will also take the vote from everyone, so that the best speaker of the day I can count it. And I don't know any other. I think I really good points are in.
Thank you. For those of you who haven't met Rajrajeshwari, she is Rajrajeshwari. She was a very active member in the past season.
Past season.
Yeah, this is good. We had a reason and she showed up, so that's what matters. Thank you. Next, I would like to call upon Vishnu, who has again helped me at the last moment to be the timekeeper.
Good afternoon, members. Today my role is timekeeper. As a timekeeper, my responsibility is to keep track of the time of the session, of the table topic and the prepared speeches and the evaluation. So I will show this card for each speaker based on the timings of the speech. And also at the end of the session, I will provide the written time limit.
Thank you. So that is everyone. I have the evaluators for the prepared speeches, but we will get to them when we come to the speeches. Before that, I won't tell you why I chose this as the topic theme for today. Today morning I was reading, I have a voracious reader of news, that's why I have that thing. It aggregates news and brings it to me. So today's interesting thing which I was reading was about Bill Gates. It's a Forbes magazine article by the title The Second Coming of Bill Gates. Bill Gates was a very controversial guy in the initial days of Windows success. He was feared by rivals because of his command over the consumer space of operating systems, and he was closely watched by the antitrust agencies. That was the legacy of Bill Gates. He was like this poker player who would come to the table, throw off more chips and frighten off his competitions. Now that person has come forward as the biggest philanthropist the world has known. He's giving away his wealth left, right and center for the good of the poor and needy in places we haven't even heard of. This Forbes magazine, Forbes article starts with him helping out some South African country. I haven't even heard the name of it. It is ruled by a dictator. There's so much corruption and things going wrong there. But he has walked into the midst of that. He has told the dictator how he can make philanthropy part of his agenda so that he can continue. And that article has given me the best phrase I have come across in a long time. Diplomacy with thugs. That is what he has used to explain Bill Gates' approach. That is why I have chosen this. There were games around which was like throwing rotten eggs, computer games, throwing rotten eggs at Bill Gates' faces when people didn't like Windows. And this is a befitting answer by a person about whom we thought he was just agreed. So with that, let me most wholeheartedly bring you to the prepared speeches section. I would like to introduce the evaluator for the first speech, Supreet. Would you please explain the expectations to Lingesh, who will be delivering the first prepared speech?
Thank you, Toastmaster Thursday. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. The best way to sound like you know what you are talking about is to know what you are talking about. And that is what the speech one is all about. So the new member is to introduce himself or herself to the club and begin speaking before an audience. So the speech should have clear beginning, body and ending. So the objectives are to begin speaking before an audience and to discover speaking skills you already have and skills that need some attention. So the time given to you is 4 to 6 minutes. All the best. Thank you.
I will now invite Lingesh to come forward. No last minute changes allowed. Please do deliver your speech. Like I said, 80% you have succeeded. You're already here.
Thank you, Swiss notes.
Yes. Yes.
Good morning, Toastmaster fellows. I would like to say one quote. I always like that. Love me, hate me, either way you are thinking of me. So the thinking in the set to the mind, how the persons. So before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Lingesh, but the parents, it was initially named as Lingesh Varan. So in the school name itself, I was started as Lingesh. And there is a beauty about Lingesh and English. The both are the same character, and you can shuffle both. It will make English as well, Lingesh as well. But I am too far from English because till my college, I've been learning my local language, not in the English language. Because when I know the complete alphabet in my 5th standard, in my 5th standard only, I am able to spell complete 26 alphabet in this correct order. So, I was born in Salem, it's in the Tamil Nadu. I'll tell you something that the particular in the particular days or the particular week, something happened in the Iraq and Iran places and that is related to my birth also. It is a 6.9 magnitude Richter that earthquake happened in the Iraq. At least the 2,000 people was killed, and also there is a passenger train was traveling between Mansi and Sagana. The bridge was collapsed and the Bagmati river, so the death toll was almost 1,000. Also, it's the first time there are 73 official persons was killed in the Iraq bomb attack. So this is the week at 1981 June month. So a lot of people were killed, and that is the factor about the world. But one good for my mom and dad, that is the week I was born. So I mean that the world has happiest and saddest things equally, but I can't judge anything currently. But the only thing is happiest about my mom and dad. My dad is called Molishwaran. He is not that much old, but he is active person. He is a farmer. Still he is doing all the farming works in my native. So my mother, Susila, I love her very much, and she loves pets and dogs and all the stuffs very much. Because in my home, always we have 2 cats, 2 dogs, and all the pets we have in our homes. So, and also I have a younger brother. He is also staying with me. I call as Chandra, but his full name is Chandrakant. He is working as a civil engineer. So this is about my family. So the family means, I know one famous quotes like, the love of a family is life's greatest blessing. So always we all 4 together will love each other and we'll share everything together, and whatever it's a bad or happy, so we'll share our life, still it is continuing. Then this is the life stage. I started my school career. I'll go to my school in village. That is a small school. It's not having more than 300 students. But I learned a lot of things in the school, because in the school itself, I was become 2-time Prime Minister and 1-time Chief Minister, because that school has culture. Every year they will do the parliamentary stuff and it will carry forward the year end. Because nothing but if you are an education minister, means you need to carry the attendance and put it in each classroom. That is the education minister role. But it is quite different. But I enjoyed that. But I haven't learned English too much from that school, because all full learn. Because when English exam came, we have to write something in the board and we'll copy it and we'll get passed. That's what happened in my life. And about my college is natural thing. I have been completed my BSc Physics at 2000. Also I had completed MC at 2003. So this is about my college career. And then obviously this is your career, about your job. So I've been a software engineer from the 2004 onwards. So you know most about the software engineering nature. So I am not the exception case. So I also belongs to that family only. So about the interest and the ambition, I have one famous quote: I had rather lose myself in passion than lose my passion. When I grow, I wish to be a scientist, but because of my I don't have any property stuff, so I need to learn a lot of things. So that's what I choose in this career. Otherwise, I would have started my career as a scientist role. Then, if I become a scientist, I may invent more than 1,000 new things to the world that will make me happy always the world. So, come to the conclusion. I am active and easygoing person and straightforward. I like to talk to new people always very much. So I told you I am easygoing person, but I am not going to tell you I am perfect. Nobody perfect in the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your detailed evaluation is definitely going to come from Supreet, but there are a couple of things I definitely want to tell you about. One, don't let language ever stop you, because the way you have presented speeches, quotes relating to values of other people, as in family values, your experiences in school, this is what helps people remember what you said. The words, they don't really stick back, the ideas. The moment you made us recollect something, realize something about, that's what matters. Don't let language ever stop you. And how long have you been in SEBA?
It's past 6 months.
6 months, 3 sessions at Toastmasters, and he's here. It's definitely a winner. There's nothing that can stop him. I've been in SEBA for 5 years. I joined this Toastmasters last year. So, yes, I've been disturbing you. Please continue getting feedback. There's one thing I would like to bring to your attention, not attention, I will tell you about. I spent a handful of my years reading about Hitler. The reason I started reading about him is when I was growing up, my mother told me about you suffering for your actions on this earth. And I wanted to know how, after all the atrocities Hitler committed, what were his last days like. So I started reading. It's not written anywhere. The internet doesn't have any details about the last days of Hitler. That is why I started reading. So when I didn't find what I wanted, I started reading. So I spent 3-4 years reading this thing. And the thing which you said about that parliamentary approach at school, this is one of the things Hitler did with his army or with his party. Any moment his party could be ready to come into force. So what he did was he had a pseudo-government. He had all the policies listed out. He had his ministers. He had his own army. He had his own security setup. Everything was ready as a parallel government. And the day he gained control, he just flipped over. And he has been successful from there. So that reminded me of that. With that, let me call upon President Kirtiraj to explain his role as evaluator for the second speech of today, which is again another icebreaker.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Kaustubh. I don't think we need to go over the objectives again. It will be the same objectives as English objectives are. So, best of luck, Praveen, and Praveen, learn a lot about you. Thank you.
It's about you, 80% done, you're already here.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. I'm Praveen. I recently joined Toastmaster Club, and I really feel that it is a really great club to join. Well, if you are in SEBA and if you are not a part of Toastmaster Club, I think you are missing something. In your weekly schedule, we have a session. I feel that it is really great and contributing a lot to me and to the fellow Toastmasters as well. Introducing myself is a bit difficult. I don't know what to say about me. Going chronologically, I'm from Bihar. I was born in Bihar and I was brought up in West Bengal. I'm having a brother and 3 sisters. two of my sisters are in Bangalore. One of them is working in LES Software Solutions. My education, like I passed my ICSE from Assembly of God Church School, and post that I did my +2 from college in West Bengal, and I did my engineering, and I joined a public sector undertaking. It is called Indian Telephone Industries in Bangalore. Post that I moved to Nokia Siemens. Finally, I am working with Sega for the past 1 year. Travel domain was totally new to me. I was totally unaware of that because past all my experience was into telecom. So everything I did was with telecom. Earlier, I can say that I was serving the one who was traveling into communicating to their relatives or their loved ones when they are coming. And now what we are doing, I'm helping them travel. So this is the difference that has come, this labor has brought into my career. Other than that, like my hobbies includes, like I compose poems, mostly in Hindi. A few of like I have even published in some of the magazines. So those are there. Yeah. About my parents, like my father was a politician in West Bengal. We are from a village called Ukra, and he was a mukhya from that place. So everybody in the village knows us. So other aspects, like I was like a pretty lucky in joining telecom sector, I'll say, because it has given me an immense opportunity to travel throughout India. So I have traveled almost all the states in India, excepting a few. Even the most beautiful states I explored is the northeast part of India. I would suggest that every individual should visit northeast, especially Gangtok. If you are moving to Sikkim, you will feel that it is not in India. And it is considered that it is the most prosperous state in India because there the per capita income is around 30,000. So you can understand there is no theft, no burgling, nothing. So you can expect a very nice journey, and also the Himalayas, the beauty of Himalayas, I think it is going to mesmerize you. So that's the beauty about those places. I feel about my feelings, emotions, I'm a bit emotional. I'm pretty attached to my family, and it is hence that I call my home daily, and I normally talk to my mom on a daily basis. There is nothing that can stop me talking to my mom. And emotions play a very key role, and I think every individual is emotional. Maybe that he is not reflecting, but he is emotional. He or she is emotional. So that's one thing. My philosophy in life is you should be always ready to help the indigent, because as Costa said that Bill Gates is also doing a lot of charity works these days, and he is helping all the indigent people. So I would like to put one quote, like something. It is said that when Alexander died, before dying he said, "When you bury me, keep my hands outside. Just bury my full body and keep my hands outside." Just to signify that when you leave this world, you don't have anything in your hand. You leave this world empty-handed. So why not use that resource that you are having for the benefit of the every individual? So that's philosophy I believe in. Also, like if you want to explore me, I just say that dive deep into the hells of love. You'll always find me there. Thanks a lot.
There is no such thing as 6 degrees of separation. How did he get philanthropy and that quote and that act into his speech? I just decided on this theme 10 minutes before the session. It's not 6 degrees of separation. There's no separation. We're all interconnected. Let's give it a few moments to my feedback. The worst part is over. let's quickly check with the timekeeper has both.
Yes,
speakers.
both are qualified.
Both qualified. So we have the voting for the best speaker. I would like to share a disclaimer that it's just your opinion. So take it with a pinch of salt. And it's only for the ribbon, which unfortunately we don't have today. Yeah.
No, here it is.
It is there. Great.
Actually, what is this?
Best speaker.
Best speaker.
Excellent. So now we come to thinking on foot, thinking on feet, depending on what species you belong to. Session. Let me call upon Toastmaster Srikanth to entertain us.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters. Hello, guests. Do we have any guests today? No. So coming to the table topic session, the objective of table topic session is to train you to speak off the cuff, impromptu, in the spur of moment. You would have come across situations where you meet a colleague of co-worker or a friend of yours and you start talking about topics. Anything. It could be related to the current affairs, it could be anything. And this is an opportunity for you to just do that. Think that everyone here are your friends and you're talking to them. So take this opportunity to improve your skills or just have a good time. So the rules for this section is that you are required to speak for a minimum of 1 minute and the maximum of 2 minutes. If you want, you can talk further, but just that you will be disqualified for the competition. So let me go with the topics. The theme I've chosen for the table topics today is light and serious. We'll have topics which are light-hearted, which are funny, and there are some topics which are a little serious, which are in sync with the current affairs. So to start with the first light-hearted topic, the topic is, you sit on chairs, you abuse the tables. Just imagine, if they could only talk, what would they be saying? All these chairs, the walls, the desk and the fridge, anything. All these inanimate objects, what would they be saying? Do I have any volunteers for this? Okay, let me pick one person for example. Kirti.
Okay, so the topic is if the inanimate objects like walls, chairs, desks and the fridge, if they were talking, what would they be saying? That's the topic. It's a very funny topic. I hope I do justice to this one. So I guess the chair would be saying, every day I see people sitting on me, I feel really tired, I have to carry their weight every day. The wall would be like bored, not bored, wall will say, during the daytime I feel really excited and see a lot of energy in the office and a lot of people coming in. But during the night I'm lonely, nobody is there except you, chair and table. So, and you guys are not able to move, so I'll be all bored. And the table will be saying, I am a very, very sophisticated being. People just keep good things on top of me and they use me for writing and projecting the laptop or something like that. They don't sit on me. So, chair, you are suffering. And the fridge would be saying, why it's so hot outside? I am a cool person, so I keep things cool and fresh. And it's so hot outside. I don't want to. It's like people are so hot. Like it's not a good environment outside, and I want to be cool, keep things cool, even though I can't eat them because it's not edible for me. I eat electricity. So that's what they would be saying, I guess. Thanks.
Thank you, Toastmaster. That was very humorous. So just think for a second before you sit on the chair or put your stuff on the table. Just think, what would they be saying? It's a fun way to pass time. Coming to the serious topic, the current affairs. Everyone, I mean, if you switch to channels these days, you see, everyone talking about FDI. There's FDI in retail. Is it good? Is it going to affect the manufacturing industry? Should we really open up for the FDI? So what is your view? What do you think? Do you have any volunteers for this topic?
Yeah.
Good afternoon again. The reason I volunteered to talk about this is I think one of our tenets says that we avoid politics, sex, religion, and such topics. This is more about current affairs. Most people need not have the habit of being up to date with current affairs. The FDI thing, foreign investment thing, in layman's terms, what it means is, let's say an international company or a multinational company like Walmart or Amazon wants to open a retail shop in India. There are rules which govern, which say that the Indian or the host country should have at least 51% of shares in it, so that they don't muscle their way into our market. The reason why we don't want it is these guys, being multinationals, are very huge. So if you're a very huge retailer and you buy a lot of supplies, which means you can negotiate a cheaper deal with suppliers, which will become harmful for small-time players, right? So I'm able to sell apples a kilo for 100 rupees, whereas the normal market rate is 120. Everyone would come to me. There are laws in China. When Walmart wanted to open a store in China, they said you have to use the local produce, otherwise you're not going to set up your store here. And Walmart had to do it. Walmart doesn't usually do it, but China, being the communist power, they rustled their way through it and they got it to do it. Now, for some reason, our government wants to let the investors have 51% of the shares and India have only 49. It's a debate going on. Both have its pros and cons. I'm not very aware of all of them because I don't spend time talking about these things. I do meaningful work here except for 90 seconds a week, which is right here. So with that, I mute. Thank you.
Thank you, Costa. I was talking to the Kirana store guy next to our apartment, and I was concerned that he would be opposing it. But he was like, I don't have to go to some store which is a distributor who is far away, but I can go to this store, buy in bulk and come and sell. So looks like it's not actually that bad for the pop and mom stores around. So, going to the next topic. On the lighter note, we have, you find people who annoy, who always come and annoy you, right? Don't you feel like taking revenge at them? What are the 5 ways you want to, say, go away to an annoying person without being rude? The topic is how, or tell me 5 ways you can say go away to an annoying person without being rude. Do we have any take
This
for
is a
it?
group discussion.
Okay, Toastmaster Atik. Sorry.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. So, about this topic, 5 ways to say go away to an annoying person without appearing rude. Well, I'd say all of us here have different thoughts in their mind to think about 5 different ways. first way would be depending on the type of person he is. If he's an elderly person, if he's a senior person, or if he's a younger person. Well, without being rude, obviously you just say yes to whatever he has to say, though in back of your head you're not agreeing to what he's saying. You just say yes, yes, you're right, and you just keep quiet and let him talk and finish. And, in one way you're avoiding this person. The second way would be maybe just keep quiet, don't say anything. Don't have to nod your head, just keep quiet and just give him that unfocused gaze. And you'll just confuse him, and maybe he has his own thoughts and he'll just walk away. The other way is support him in, again, saying yes, or support him in whatever he's saying, and in a sweet way, just tell him we'll take up this sometime later. And the other two ways, I can't think of any other two ways. Maybe if you meet me sometime, if I don't feel like discussing it with you, I'll show it to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, today I've learned 3 ways. So definitely I'll try to implement it and hopefully use it. Coming to the next topics on the current affairs. If you've been browsing on the internet recently, you would have found or come across this song called Collaborate, which has become quite viral and famous. Okay, before I go into topic, can you raise your hands? How many of you have not heard this song? Okay, we have only one person here, so we're more than two. Okay, so that's a minority here. But after the session, go and please to watch the song. You will know why it is so popular. So the question here is, why is there so much rage about this song? Is it just a marketing gimmick, or it has something which other songs don't? Anyone wants to take a shot at this?
Volunteers.
Volunteers. Vishnu?
Good afternoon, Masters. I listened to this song already yesterday only. So, according to me, it is simply just marketing gimmick. I can say the song is just in English. English, that also not pure English, but the rhyming is good, like holy cow, 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 holy cow, something is, but it is little bit different. Whatever they done is they done sincerely. The music director is a very new guy, and I think Dhanush is the hero. But what I don't like is people who are on top levels like Amitabh Bachchan, Abhishek, these people are tweeting on this song. There are so many issues to tweet, but why they are giving unnecessary publicity which is not at all required. Maybe it is because of Sunil or Rajnikant, maybe that is the one of the reason. And these days, maybe as it is a youth song and most of the YouTube viewers are coming from the youth generation, maybe that is one of the reason to be a hit. And further to that, all these newspaper channels or websites, they are giving on the top. It is reaching 1 million, it is crossing like live updates on this. So maybe it may help to the movie to some extent, but without the story or something, it won't help anything. But the good thing is, I can congratulate the music director and Dhanush also who written the song. He knows that it is not good song, but still he tried and he tried it sincerely and made it a hit. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu. That was an interesting take on it. I mean, if you ask me, I would say that Ravan has done a lot of marketing. I mean, before even the movie got released, there were months and months of marketing which went into it. But after it got released, in spite of all the marketing effect, it didn't succeed. So maybe there is something which is catchy, or the way, there's something which is connecting, which is hitting the hearts of people, which made it hit or viral. So, that's just me. So, going to the next topic. Do we time? Time people? We have time. So, going to the next topic, on a lighter note. Recently we had some of the folks in Sabre who have written the BITS exam and have passed the exam. So this is on a contrary note, as in this is on an opposite side. The question is how to successfully fail in your exams. You guys have passed it, so can someone articulate how to fail in exams?
Yeah. Successfully fail in your exams. I think only once in my graduation I failed in one exam. That is some electrical line subject and something. What I can say, like, you can successfully fail when you write the same question as the answer. That is one. And if you copy from others, then obviously the invigilator will make you as a failure. If you don't study and if you go to the exam, then you will be trying, okay, something I have to write for that question, for the given question, something you write. So study and go, but don't think that you can answer that question perfectly. So write something. That's it.
Thanks, Toastmaster Rajaneshwar. A friend of mine had written his intermediate exam and he didn't want to pass because his father was the reason why he had gone to exam hall and was writing the exam. And I think he had written most of the exams fine, but except the last one on which he didn't really was serious about writing the exam. So what he did was he has written the story of the first Hrithik Roshan movie, Kaho Na Pyar Hai. So he has written the story of that and he came back. And when he saw the results of the exam, he found that he passed. He didn't understand how could something like that happen unless the person who was writing, correcting the paper likes the movie or something, I guess. So on that note, I think we don't have time for more topics. Thank you, Toastmaster.
FYI, you cannot fail the BITS exam. I tried it. I was so unprepared. I had a release going on. My team was working. The coordinator wouldn't let me take the day off. She asked me to come and write. I didn't want to get low marks. So I thought I'll fail myself. I went there. I wrote the first page, came off. I got 4 marks. And then I found out you don't fail. It's relative marking. It depends on the highest scorer. So if the highest scorer was 24, you have passed. Second thing about telling a person to go away was annoying. Coming to think of it, I know about a lot of Woody Allen quotes. There is a Woody Allen quote which says, now this is unparliamentary, but I'm not going to use any of those words which are unparliamentary. A guy hit my fender and I told him to go away, be fruitful and multiply, but not in those words. Think about it, it will come to you. With that, thank you Toastmaster Srikanth. Did all speakers qualify?
Yeah, all the speakers qualify.
Right, so we vote for the rest of it.
So who are the, who are the speakers? You want to just write it down?
First was 50. Myself, K. Then Prateek.
Spell it.
ATIQ.
Q.
Rajacharan.
Vishnu, last.
I just finished yesterday, that is why.
Your first name is Raji, right?
Rajesh.
There is one more.
All the five have
All five have qualified.
Yeah,
Apologies in advance, you don't have a ribbon, but you will be remembered on our blog. And you will have a video. We're done with that, good. So we move on to the general evaluation section. Let me call upon Toastmaster Ashok.
Very interesting session so far. You know, when Toastmaster Kaustubh was talking about Bill Gates, one thing that came to our mind is in late 1990s, around 99 or early 2000, there was a lot of furor. In fact, this was when he was at his prime and his business was flourishing. There was a lot of furor about what is he doing. I mean, he was the richest man in the world, and he was like, his empire was growing in such a rate, and there was monopoly and all sort of things like that. What is he doing in the field of philanthropy? That question was asked. There were articles in newspapers, magazines, you know, they put his picture and a big question mark. But it is interesting to note that over the last 10 years, what he has done is significant. And I think it's not because he's the richest man in the world, but his sheer willingness to just go out and use his personal money for the better cause of mankind. That is what has changed us. And I can tell you there are so many rich people in India. And if we are to even spend 1% of that, of their wealth in philanthropy, you know, the dream of India being a superpower or eradicating poverty in India, that could very much be a reality. Because that is the amount of money that is floating around in this country. So, with that background, moving to the evaluation segment, which is something that everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to know, how did we do? Okay, we did our part, now we need to look back and get some data. So to help me go through this segment, I am first going to call upon the individual speech evaluators. And I will start off with Toastmaster Supreet for Mr. Lingesh, Toastmaster Lingesh icebreaker speech. So please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Supreet.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashok. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. So there are always three speeches for everyone you actually gave. The one you practiced, the one you gave, and the one you wish you gave. And the last one will never happen, most of the times. So moving on to Lingesh's speech, you did have a good opening, body and conclusion, but when coming to the conclusion part, you said, come to conclusion, you said something like that. That wasn't necessary. Conclusion should should be stated in such a way that the audience will get to know that this is the conclusion of the speech. And there is signs of nervousness in the speech. In the beginning you were a little bit hesitant, but later on you covered it up. There was a smile throughout the speech, which I did observe, and there was a little bit of humor in the very beginning when he related himself, his name, with English. And also there was a good body language at the later stage, not at the beginning. And you do have a good voice, so you were clearly audible to the audience, and I guess they could clearly understand what you were speaking about. And coming to the preparation of the speech, I think you did prepare your speech, hopefully. And the things that you would look forward for improvement is you could probably overcome your nervousness in the next coming speeches, and probably you work on well with the way you are writing your speech. And that's all I have. Thank
you. Well, it's indeed nice to have Toastmasters Supreme back after a long hiatus. So Lingesh, if I can just add, I think Supreme pretty much covered the gist of the speech. First and foremost, your commitment was all over that speech. I mean, your desire to come here and share and talk about yourself, the energy in your conversation, it was there, it was obvious. And I think that is very important in any speech. So kudos to you for coming down and sharing that all the information, the energy was really that caught my attention. You come from did you have English as your main, was your primary mode of education?
Yeah, but we never read it.
Yeah, I think during your story you talked about some of the challenges there. One thing that I observed is you use the word "the" in places probably you should not. That's one observation. For example, learned a lot of things in the school. Learned a lot of things in school. This is an example, and I saw that pattern. So you may want to just look at some of the things that you're talking about and saying, and you may see some other patterns there. Besides that, I love the opening, closing. Closing was good, but I agree with Suprem. You never call out explicitly, I'm starting and I'm closing. The content should pretty much pass the message out. But I do want to again congratulate you. Icebreaker is a milestone. The first one is always the difficult one. And you have done that today. So please join me in, and we do hope now that you have passed that icebreaker, you will start signing up for your next projects and that and keep the momentum going. Alright, to move to the second evaluation, I am going to request Kirti, Toastmaster Kirti, to share with us a detailed evaluation.
Before I jump into the nitty-gritties of Praveen's speech, I just want to say what Toastmasters is all about. Toastmasters is all about standing here and speaking as many times as possible. Because in life, in work, in life, in personal life, nothing can replace experience. You may read a lot of books, you may watch a lot of movies, you may watch Obama speaking on YouTube, but till the time you come here and speak for yourself, you will not be learning at the rate which you would like to. And this is something which Toastmasters provides. It provides you opportunity to come here and speak, which you won't get elsewhere, like in your job, in your team. Maybe you will get one presentation per 6 months or 2 months, something like that. Not every day, not every week, probably, unless you are in a team which demands that. So I would like to congratulate both of you for coming here and speaking and gaining that experience, which will take you forward in your next speeches, in your forthcoming speeches or role player roles or anything to do with that. So congratulations on that. Big hand for that. So coming to Praveen's speech, you started off with a very high energy. I saw that you maintained that energy throughout. You are not like, there are some people who are like very dull, they'll like stand like this and speak. You were very high energy from the beginning. I thought it will die down towards the end, but it did not die down. It was throughout the whole speech. And you had a smile in your face, which is always very welcoming to an audience which maybe doesn't know you that well. Like you are new to the club and you're introducing yourself. When you have that smile in your face, it brings that bond between you and the audience. And great job doing that. Again, your voice was very loud and clear. I did not see any glitches there. Some of the times where you talked about your trip to Sikkim and all, you brought in a lot of visual aspect to it, and people started imagining like how it would look like or how you experienced that trip. So that is something which I would always encourage the prepared speech givers to give, that bring in more visual aspect to it, which will take the audience to a world which you are talking about. So great job there. And you had some good quotes towards the end and in the beginning, good quotes to say that, okay, this is what I believe about life, and this is what I believe. I am a very emotional person. So all these things made us understand you better and understand you, that what kind of person you are, and people knew more about you. So you basically introduced yourself to the club in a very effective way. Some of the areas which you would like to look at is pronunciation. I did not watch, maybe Bhuvnesh will bring that up in her evaluation. There are certain words which you may need to look at how to pronounce them. Apart from that, since it was the first speech, I did see a bit of nervousness, but it is totally fine. That happened to me, that happened to most of the people who came here to speak for the first time. It is very natural, nothing to worry about. It will go away. I guarantee it will go away if you continue coming here and speak. Okay? So that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kirti, for that very detailed evaluation, and also thanks for putting the perspective on what Toastmasters is all about. I couldn't agree more with Kirti. I think that is really what it is being here and doing it. I do add one observation, Praveen. You have a very good hold on English. Now that was somewhere buried in that nervousness. I was trying to just imagine as you were talking, there was a little bit of nervousness in your voice, and you're looking up and everything is fine. But if I just fast forward, you speaking minus the nervousness, I can see you speaking really good and really fluent. You used some very good words. Your sentence constructions were wonderful. There was good sequencing. You had a story. You were telling us a story. You were taking us on a nice journey. So I see all the ingredients for somebody who can become a very good speaker. So kudos to you and all the best. All right. Next, I will request. Sorry, I've got all these names mixed up here. Grammarian for today, Sujata, to provide us the detailed grammarian's report.
Thank you, Master Ashok. Well, this is the second time that I'm taking up the role, and thanks to Shrikant's evaluation the last time, I think I did a little better just this time. And I was remembering Sarika all the while because it's not an easy role to play. Alright, let's start with the good usages for the day. Synonymous, reach out, deny, fraternity, rivals, voracious, aggregate, controversial, legacy, myths, thugs, befitting, wholeheartedly, shuffle, atrocities, chronologically, prosperous, mesmerize, inanimate, sophisticated, layman, host, communist, gaze, minority, rage, invigilator, unparliamentary, flourishing, monopoly, sheer willingness, eradicate, fruiting, segment, hesitant, kudos, more, besides, explicitly, milestone, glitches, sequence, and ingredients. And some of the phrases that I saw, which is good today, is reach out, come forward, handful of years, flip over, go about, pinch of salt, thinking on feet, spur of moment, pros and cons, take on, in spite of, in prime, indeed, all over, call out, cannot agree more, good hold on. And the word for the day was used by Praveen twice. Coming to the improper usages, a good list of them. Okay. Toastmaster fellows can be fellow Toastmasters. Persons can be person. School name can be name in the school. I be can not can be should be. I have been. I know the complete alphabet can be. I know the complete set of alphabets. In the Tamil Nadu should be in Tamil Nadu. In particular days should be on particular days. I don't know the exact number. It was 72 persons were killed. It should be people were killed. My dad, in speeches better would be my father. Farming parts part of farming. Two cat is two cats. I call as should be. I call him as. Family means, and you mentioned a quote. You can put it as a quote I did it to my family. I go to my school should be. I went to my school. I become should be. I became. We will get passed should be. We passed. And passed at 2000 should be passed in 2000. One of us is one of them is. Post that I'm not sure about the usage. Hobbies includes should be hobbies include. Other aspects like, and you started with another sentence, should be other aspects are. I feel about my feelings should be I feel or I'm emotional. Bury my full body. Leaving my hands out should rather be. Bury me with my hands out. Be like bored should be bored. Something like that was used twice. Preferably should be avoided in speeches. Muzzle their pain, I'm not sure about whether it's a clever phrase or an improper usage. First way of yesterday only should be only yesterday. Little bit different should be little different. Treating this song should be prioritizing the song. Further to that should be further. Written the song can be or should be wrote the song or wrote the lyrics. Hitting the heart, not sure, must be touching the heart. Throughout the whole speech can be throughout the entire speech.
Very good. I think we have found an ace grammarian in the club. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I think there is two aspects. For those of you who haven't done this role, one is to catch the phrase, catch the information as it goes, to think about what it could be, and to all capture this in real time because the person is not waiting, right? The speaker is continuing on. And I thought you did a wonderful job. Your structure of your evaluation is very good. Wow. So, well, I think you should do more of these so that you will start looking at the final aspects of that. Thank you again. So now to ask the timekeeper Vishnu for sharing the details. Well, first, did all the evaluators qualify?
It will take just 5 seconds more, so to consider all the three.
Okay, so we have, who are the people who qualified was Sujata and
Kirti and Sujata.
so can you all vote for the best evaluator?
Sujata. Even you guys can go.
Okay, Toastmaster Vishnu, can you share with us the detailed timekeeper's report?
Right in the piece paper.
The detailed time report is prepared speeches. Language taken 6 minutes 24 seconds. Again 4 minutes 58 seconds. Table topics. Kirti taken 1 minute 45 seconds. Kaustubh 1 minute 44 seconds. Artik 2 minutes 2 seconds. Vishnu 1 minute 32 seconds. Rajeshwari 1 minute 3 seconds. Evaluation Sukrit 2 minutes 15 seconds. Kirti 3 minutes 40 seconds. Sujata 3 minutes 30 seconds.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu.
Yes, I want to add one line.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to thank you, Kaustubh, to take my help today because I got a chance to listen to the speaker to overwhelming speeches, and I liked the theme also. So by thinking, I motivated with the theme and created my own code. So I want to share that one.
Sure.
So in this world, humans everywhere, humanity nowhere.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu. One observation, I was seeing Vishnu go about, flagging the stuff, and I must say he does a wonderful job. As trivial as it sounds, a good timekeeper should flag such that he catches the attention of the speaker. Okay? And he has to hold it till the speaker sees it, and he has to do it in a very subtle way so that it doesn't disturb the speaker. The moment if the speaker is doing something and he takes a pause, that means he has been distracted, right? And he does it very gently, and he holds it till he sees that the speaker has eye contact, and then he removes it. So wonderful job. I know it sounds very trivial, but it's a very well thought out way, and I think you do a wonderful job. Thank you. Okay, now moving to, before I go to my evaluation or my feedbacks, I'm going to ask Atik to share with us the Accountants report.
Thank you. Okay, start off with okay, I'll start off with Lingesh. This icebreaker speech. He had 9 hours, and the usage of so and but interjections during the sentences was good. It was not repeated. And Praveen 7 hours. Ashok 7. Sujata 5. Rajeshwari 3. Vishnu 0. Kaustubh 0. Kirtiraj 3. Shrikant 3. Atik, myself 5. Sukrit 5. That's it.
How do you capture your time?
I remember.
Thanks, Atik. This is the first time you're doing the Accountants. One suggestion I would have is look for the crutch words for every individual, and this is your general feedback to everybody. If you are playing the role of the accountant, besides the R's and M's, there are some favorite words we all use. Simply, perhaps, so. Try to catch, if you can catch one for everybody, and give that feedback, because very often people don't even know what's your favorite crutch word. So, but besides that, very good job. Moving to my evaluation as a G, I'm going to try to keep it short. We've got 5 minutes. First and foremost, my sincere apologies to everybody. I came in late and the session started 10 minutes late, so I take responsibility for that. I just have to do a better job at that. Moving on to the Toastmasters costume. Very smooth execution. A lot of good information. You can become a seasoned presenter, and I'm serious about it. I think we need to see, we need to probably get you to go to the next level at some of the other events.
He's doing it.
You are? Okay, so we need to see if we can get to at the district, not even district, at the first at the the other levels, and if you can get into some hosting some of the activities, because I think you have the talent. You practice some more here and then get into some of those competitions would be wonderful. But coming back to the session, you had a lot of wonderful real world examples, the whole poker player thing about Bill Gates. It was very interesting, very relevant. And the way you got all the speakers, you motivated them, encouraged them, I thought that was wonderful. As a host, that's all part of your role, and you did very good. So again, round of applause to Kaushik. Speakers, I'm going to skip, we already talked about it. Nice to have you back, Suprit. I hope you will see more of you. One thing I like about your evaluations, anything you do is you always have an additional sentence or something more to share than what is obvious. So it's good, you bring a little variety, so hope to see you more of you in these sessions. Toastmaster Srikanth, very good job with the table topics. There was a lot of variety in the subjects. Today, I think you did an exceptionally good job. Let me tell you the difference. I think your delivery was very good. Normally, you tend to be a little bit more faster. You were more relaxed today. The execution was smooth. You seem to be in control. I don't know what it is, whether you're just having a good day or what, but maybe you want to go back and check what is it that you did different today. Very good execution. And one of the things, and I go back to what Kirti said, content is secondary. It's about being greater than life. That means coming here and you're putting up a show. So no matter how you feel inside, if you portray comfort, if you portray that you are in control, then that is what the audience gets. And that is what they care about. They really don't care about, how good you are, what an expert, what's your degree, nothing, right? So you did a very good job. I like the whole flow, I like the execution, you were in control. Very crisp in your communication. The only general comment I would make is speed with you. Check if you can slow down every now and then to highlight some of the areas or put some additional emphasis. But besides that, so again, try out some more table topic sessions, good place for you to experiment. Table topic speakers, I'm going to skip in the interest of time. The only thing I would say is all of you, you did a very good job. It was a different subject. Every topic was different. So kudos to all of you. You came here, you gave it a shot, and that's the gist of what it's all about. Lastly, I just want to say that for subsequent sessions, we had a challenge again. Congratulations and thanks to Kaustubh. I just want to make this point. He pinged me around half an hour before the session, and as Kaustubh said, he did not have any role players. Okay, so thanks to everybody who stepped up, who came here, okay, who were called in the last minute, who accepted that challenge. But I also want to congratulate Kaustubh. That is commitment. Right? So when you talk about leadership, those of you who all want to be leaders in your own right, in your own space, okay? Leadership, what differentiates is not when things go well. When things are not going well, when you have a challenge, how do you respond? How do you make things happen, right? And that is what he did. We would not have had a session, honestly, if the way things were. This session would have been cancelled, but he said, no, I'm going to somehow make it happen. He reached out, and guess what? His commitment came through in his questions he asked. People felt the need, and we are here, right? So a round of applause to him and all the right? So without further ado, I'm going to return control back to Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Ashok. I have played every role here, and I have to say I'm not good at any of them, in my own opinion. The one I have the biggest regret about is evaluation. We have some pros in our club, and they do it so well, I can't even imagine myself doing it. Coming to the theme of the day before winding up, philanthropy is controversial. It's a debatable topic. People who have money and don't want to contribute or donate will always say, it's my hard-earned money, why should I give it away? And people who don't have it will always find reasons to criticize these people that are sitting on top. There was a comment by Ratan Tata recently about Ambani, one of the Ambani brothers who built that 27th floor house in Bombay. And Tata's comment was, why would somebody live in such opulence right next to the slums in Bombay? He said, well, that's one way of looking at it. But my take on this thing is, and probably most of you haven't had all the experiences I have had in life, is I'm very neutral to this. So people, when they have money, if they are willing to contribute, that's a good thing. Let that happen. People who have made money and don't want to do it, that's also fine. Let's look at the good things in life and not really find faults with others. Try to make them do things that we think are right. Be grateful that there is at least one Bill Gates. So with that, let me call upon presiding officer Ashok K. And thank you very much. I'm really grateful for all of you who helped me at the last moment and made this session.
Thank you. Toastmaster Kaustubh. So for the next session, I'm going to call upon the President. Kirti, do you want to just...
I'll take table topics.
Okay.
Deliver the second speech.
Hey, Supreet, you are at project 9 or project 10?
Project 9.
So you have to give 9? Or
I have to.
give 9?
Yes.
Can we plan towards that? Or
No.
if not next, the week after next?
Okay.
I don't want competition.
No, that's okay. Don't worry. So you're giving next week?
Tomorrow, do you want any speech from you, Vishnu?
The day after supply.
Look at that, look at that.
Kirti, did you get Sujata? She's giving next week.
Second.
Second.
What's the
So,
compliment?
22nd is.
Any local Lingesh, want to play any role?
Myself, all counter.
Raji will deliver the second. He won't deliver.
Kaustubh, you're at what project? No?
I am supposed to deliver 5.
I played which role?
Timekeeper?
Yeah.
Timekeeper, vote counter.
Vote counter I can take.
Okay, no.
I have it.
No, you can't anything?
Oh,
I'll
oh,
done.
you did, okay.
Yeah, American
It's
or...
okay.
Whichever everything you take.
No, let everyone tell their things. In the end, we need some sort of.
I might go.
Kaustubh, anything?
Yeah,
Each
each
or
or last moment. Last moment. No, next week is the big pitch. I don't have time.
Yeah,
Oh, actually, when is the deputy minister?
On
Next
Wednesday.
Thursday,
So you are able to
Wednesday.
prepare.
And
But
Thursday.
can you take up a role for next?
Yeah, last moment.
Usually all hands is also there, I think.
Okay, I got, I will arrange it through.
Who is a TM? That is the most, we have a TM, that is the most important.
I think next week we will have all hands. People will.
2 o'clock.
With?
Oh, Barry is there.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it
So
will
maybe
be
you want to
yes.
move it. How about moving it to Friday?
Move to Friday.
Is that okay with everybody? So let's move to Friday and you want to pick up the Toastmasters role? Do you want to pick up any other role? Toastmasters role?
Anything you can.
So why don't you give the Toastmasters Supreme? I think get her back into the room of things.
Okay.
Yeah? Alright. Okay, we forgot one thing, which is probably one of the most important, which is the awards. So we have 2 awards. One is for the best speaker, prepared speech, and one is for the best evaluator.
All the 3, even tabletop.
Oh, even tabletop. Sorry, we got all the 3. So I'm going to ask our vote counter.
Which one? Ribbon we don't have. So
No, we
have.
had
One
one
we
ribbon
have.
of the best speaker. But
Yeah.
can you first, let's start off with who is the best speaker
Yeah,
for today?
best speaker for the today's session is Praveen.
Congratulations, Praveen. This will motivate you. I also repeat what Kaustubh said, that this is just a matter of the ribbon, that the real game is all about coming here and doing it. So congratulations to you. Thanks.
And best table topic speaker is Kaustubh.
Congratulations again, Kaustubh. No ribbon, but this recognition.
Best evaluator is Sujata.
very good. Congratulations. Yes. Are we out of stock or?
I don't know, like, need to check with Sarika.
Yeah, but I think for the ones who have not, please, we need to keep track and we need to give the ribbons. I know a lot of people take pride in putting it in the offices and so, yeah, we should do it. It's a
We'll get it.
Yeah, and is that it? We covered all three? Yeah. Alright, so thank you. And anything else? Any other for this? Alright, thank you all coming and hope you all have a good afternoon. This is your phone person?
Hi. You haven't received your manual, so you can take this one.
Then
I what?
Something described.
Thanks. We are already almost given to almost